Think back to the year 2008, the year the stock market crashed, the year Big Stewie Doo kicked 3 goals in 5 minutes to seal the flag for the Hawks, and the year a young left-arm fast bowler with golden locks and a big smile was on top of the world. Nathan Bracken was the face of the green and gold in the mid-2000s. Ranked as the #1 ODI bowler in international cricket, Bracken was coming off a stellar year that had seen him lift the World Cup after already having won the ICC Champions Trophy only 2 years earlier. Australia was looking to the future, and Nathan Bracken was that future. But under the surface, it wasn't always easy going for Bracken, with a lack of test opportunities and a brutal end to his career through injury only a few months into 2009, tearing apart a career of what could have been. I spoke to Nathan Bracken to share his incredible rise to the top of world cricket, to his fall that left him unable to play the game he once loved. While he didn't have the speed of Brett Lee, Bracken would put the ball on the spot, every ball, every single over. He was one of the most reliable bowlers of his time, being able to swing the ball on a length and regularly go throughout a game, averaging less than 7 runs an over. He would pick up crucial wickets not always through raw pace, but through frustrating the batsmen due to their inability to score easy runs off his consistent bowling. Bracken's career started when he got the call-up from his first grade side, Bankstown, to play for New South Wales at the age of 20.
Once you can find your feet, and that's the biggest thing, the quicker you can find your feet at any level or in any sort of competition, that it doesn't get easier, but you start to feel that you actually belong at that level. And to me, it was important to get a run, to get the opportunities to get some wickets and bowl well and continue to bowl well through a season, just to sort of get to the point where you feel you belong at that level.
The future was looking bright as he finished second in the leading wicket takers for the state behind Stuart MacGill, and he was named as the 2001 Bradman Young Cricketer of the Year, shortly followed up with a call-up to the national side. Bracken debuted in the green and gold against the West Indies in an ODI at the MCG in 2001. His left-arm medium pace impressed selectors, and while he hadn't yet broken through with a big performance, he managed to hold his place in the side and found himself selected in the touring squad to play in the Ashes series in England of that year. Being selected in the Aussie Ashes squad featuring the likes of Brett Lee, Jason Gillespie, Glenn McGrath and Shane Warne in a time when Australia was just so dominant was a huge achievement at the age of only 23, as it is something many decorated players at the time never managed to achieve.
I know that at that stage the Australian side was very strong, they were performing very well. It's sort of, you sit there and look, well, is there going to be an opportunity?
But unfortunately for Bracken, this was all too good to be true, because during a warm-up match for the Ashes against Middlesex at Lords, Bracken got injured and had to return home before he had the opportunity to make his test debut.
Probably the big disappointment was, I think, when we played the final game at Lords, I was doing a fitness test out in the back while the boys were playing out in the middle, and bowling-wise was okay. I just couldn't throw. So any time I went to throw a ball with the shoulder, it just hurt and it burnt down the arm. And that was probably the hardest thing, that I'd done a month of work 3, 4, 5, 6 times a day, doing everything we possibly could to get it right, and knowing that we got it good enough to bowl, but just in the field I couldn't throw a ball.
Over the next 2 years, Bracken would slowly work through his injury, regaining strength and stability in his shoulder, and would return in the Shield the following season, where he claimed 24 wickets, and 16 in the following season, which earned him a test call-up. Bracken made his test debut against India for the opening test of the summer at the Gabba in place of the injured Glenn McGrath. Snatching the scalp of Sehwag in both the first and second innings, Bracken looked pretty alright, and he picked up 6 wickets over his first 2 games, but in the final game of that series, he failed to get a wicket in either of the innings. Now, considering Australia's stacked lineup at the time, and the fact he was playing as a replacement for the injured Glenn McGrath, Bracken was dropped and wouldn't appear again for 2 years until he played against the West Indies at home. While he only managed to play 2 more test matches spaced out over a number of years, he was the star of Australia's short form side at the time, being the cornerstone to their bowling attack throughout the mid-2000s. In 2006, Australia won the Champions Trophy off the back of a stellar bowling display by Bracken, and he lifted the ODI World Cup in 2007. Playing 116 matches in one-day cricket for the Aussies, Bracken grabbed 174 wickets and an average of under 25. These are world-class stats on par with the likes of Mitchell Johnson, Josh Hazlewood, and Mitchell Starc. But despite Bracken being at the peak of his powers, he was told by the chairman of selectors in 2006 that he was no longer in consideration for Test cricket and only managed to play 2 more Test matches across his career.
Like, short form, I had the opportunity and I was doing a good job there. Like, I wanted to play more Test cricket. I wanted to play at that level. I wanted to play at all levels for Australia. So it does hurt. and especially when they say that you're not being considered. And like even in contracts and those sort of things, I wasn't. After that meeting, I never had a ranking in Test cricket. So to sit there in meetings and know that the selectors see you in the top players for short form cricket, but don't even consider you in the top 20 players for Test cricket, it is a hard one to cop at times.
Despite these lack of opportunities, over the next couple of years, Bracken was at the top of his game. He was named in the 2008 ICC World ODI Team of the Year and was the winner of the Allan Border Medal for Best ODI Player of that year. But as Australia turned their focus onto a new generation of fast bowlers, Bracken was left fighting with a chronic knee injury that left him with a permanent disability. He never returned to cricket and announced his retirement from cricket in 2011 at the age of 33 after 2 years of struggling with his fitness.
I did. I enjoyed every minute of it. I loved representing my country and I loved going through all those things. I guess how it ended was it hurt. And the process that all went through at the end and the way, like, I'd love to be able to tell a lot of the real things that went on, but it hurt. And it's left me a very bitter taste about cricket. And it's probably also affected my involvement in the game after I finished playing.
ABC's Four Corners reported Bracken's difficult transition to life beyond cricket and how his family took Cricket Australia to court for alleged negligence over his treatment as a fast bowler that led to his injury. In my interview with Nathan Bracken, he made special mention of his wife Hayley and his family for their support following his career.
I'll be honest, I wouldn't have achieved half the things in my career if I didn't have her beside me, and the support she gets through everything. Through the highs, through the lows, even through the very end and everything that happened. Like, I know that I've got somebody here that loves me dearly, because when it got hard after everything sort of finished, she was probably in boots and all in every issue that we went through and faced, and was beside me the whole way and never backed away.
Outside of an occasional media stint covering the cricket, Bracken could be found in the Blue Mountains working for a concrete supply company and would go on to run as an independent in the Australian federal election for the seat of Dobble in New South Wales. While he has since moved on from cricket and is now pursuing other ventures in life, the legacy of Nathan Bracken will never be forgotten, as his fleeting moments at the peak of Australian cricket will live on through the memories of cricket fans worldwide. Thanks for watching.